Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel Quaint. Today we will uncover one of the most fascinating secrets in the world of internet security, session keys in TLS encryption, and why they are born to die. Yes, these session keys live only for a few moments, and in that short time they protect billions of online transactions around the world. So in this video, let's see how this thing happens. So one term is there, TLS. This is the short form of transport layer security. So TLS is the backbone of secure communication on the internet. Whenever you see that tiny padlock icon beside a website's address, that means TLS is working behind the scenes. TLS is working behind the scenes. This is encrypting data between your browser and the web server. Why behind the scenes? Because you cannot see all these processes on your screen, whether it is your smartphone or a computer or a laptop. You cannot see all these things. That means these are happening, but happening behind the scenes. Anyway, so next the magic begins. Magic begins when your browser and the web server meet for the first time. Right at that moment, the magic begins. They perform a process called the TLS handshake. They means what? They means here your browser and that web server. They perform a process called the TLS handshake. Actually, whenever you see that little padlock icon just beside your website address, before that this process occurs. This process means this TLS handshake occurs. Okay, so what happens here actually? TLS handshake, that means it's a negotiation. It's a negotiation between your browser and that web server on how to, means they agree on how to encrypt data safely. They agree on, your browser and that web server agree on how to encrypt data safely, and that's where session keys come into play. Here session keys are required. So what are session keys? Session keys are short-lived keys. Short-lived. They live for a very short time, only for a session. Session means what? Whenever you are, say for example, you are using your bank's website. So you first logged in, then you logged out. So this is one session. You logged in, you logged out. So in between these two times, logged in and logged out, so this is one session. Again, if you are using a browser, if you have connected a website, and say for example you are resetting that connection, then only that is one session. Before resetting, from starting up to before resetting, that is one session. So these session keys live only for one session. After that, what happens? These session keys die. They are permanently deleted. These session keys are permanently deleted. That means these session keys are temporary encryption keys. And these session keys are also called ephemeral keys. Ephemeral means, you know the meaning, short-lived. Okay. So now you know session keys are what? These are temporary encryption keys. They live only for a very short time, only for a session. Since they live only for a session, that's why they are named as session keys. Okay, they are named as only session keys. And if any hacker is present and if they somehow manage to steal the encrypted data, so without the session keys they cannot decrypt that data. Okay. Anyway, next thing is, you know, private keys are there, again public keys are there. But private keys and public keys, these keys are not used to encrypt data. only session keys are used to encrypt data. But these public keys and private keys, they are used for what? They are used to generate these session keys. Yes, some initial data exchange occurs where those private keys and public keys are required. During some initial data exchange, at that time, you would find the use of private keys and public keys. But for the purpose of encryption of data, those private keys and public keys are not used. Instead, session keys are used. Okay, session keys are used. And normally this is done through a process called what? Diffie Hellman key exchange, or more securely Ephemeral Diffie Hellman. And most interesting thing is, the beauty of this thing is, there is no need to send these session keys to the other party. These session keys are generated by both the parties. Here both the parties means the browser is there, the web server is there. So session keys are generated by both the parties. Yes, using a specific rule, but both these session keys are exactly the same. They generate independently. The browser and the web server generate independently these session keys, but they are the same. And there is no need to send session keys from, to transfer or send session keys from one party to another party. So hackers cannot do anything. They cannot steal your session keys. And if there is any chance that they can steal the session keys, since session keys live only for a very short time, so hackers cannot do by stealing one session key to know the past or future communications, because all data are encrypted. And for all encryption, the same session key is required for the purpose of decryption. For the purpose of decryption, what is required? That session key is required. So hackers actually cannot do anything. Okay. So now you know why session keys are so important and what is the function of session keys, and why session keys are designed that way. Okay, why session keys are designed that way? Because if hackers know all the session keys, then just after encrypting your data, they can decrypt by using those session keys. That's why those session keys are designed that way. So that they live only for a very short time, only for a session, and that's why they are named that way, session keys. Okay, so now you know everything. And most important thing for normal users, bank's website, when you are making online payment or any online transaction. Okay, on the internet, in that case you know what is the importance of these things. If hackers are there or eavesdroppers are there, if they are hacking your encrypted data, so with just encrypted data they cannot do anything. Okay, session keys were used to encrypt data. Exactly the same session keys are required to decrypt the data. And since session keys are not available to the hackers, so just by stealing that encrypted data, they cannot do anything. That's why this is safe. And that's why TLS is called the backbone of secure communication on the internet. Okay, so this was all about today's topic. This is the end of this video. If you found this video fascinating, so please like, share and subscribe to our channel. This is the end. Thanks for watching.